So it's getting harder and harder to hide the symptoms. I think in my last video I talked about how we have 3 overlapping treatments now with 2 targeted PRRT treatments, as well as now switching to CAPTEM, which is on a 4-week cycle instead of an 8-week cycle as with targeted therapy. With all of these overlapping cycles, it's starting to present some of the symptoms, and that, along with the painkillers to help me sleep, is just compounding even more. I find myself in a different type of fatigue. It's more just I would call it just tiredness, I guess, for lack of a better term. My legs are not balancing very well. I fell this morning, and my balance, my strength really need to be worked on in the next couple weeks, so that I can maintain kind of a normal quality of life. Because I've heard people say that when they get older, all they want to be able to do is be able to be strong enough to stand up on their own and be able to carry the 50 pounds of groceries that they need to carry to maintain their quality of life. And I can definitely see that now, because I can't do that right now. So it's something that I'm going to have to work back towards, and hopefully as these treatments drop off and I'm dealing with one modality, or I'm able to slip into a prolonged period of non-treatment, that I'll be able to build up my strength again. There have been discussions since I've fallen and my balance hasn't been so great that maybe I need a wheelchair, and to logically that does make sense. However, there's a bit of pride there that I need to get over, and because when I think about sitting in a wheelchair and going to a mall at the age of 43, it's kind of like the next step of becoming an invalid, and I just don't feel that I'm comfortable nor ready to be in that position yet. And I feel like I still got more fight in me to recover and be able to beat this. And for some reason, every step that I would have to take towards not fighting forward, I feel like I'm just losing ground on the progress that I've already made. So again, a lot of that is probably ego, and it's the circumstances that I'm facing, and I need to choose joy and let God take over from here, because ultimately the story of or my story is to be told in a way that I am able to persevere and I am able to overcome, and I'm able to choose spiritual joy even in light of my circumstances. So maybe this is another test where I just have to grin and bear it, and for the time being, let my circumstances be which they are, but at the same time choose joy and continue to push, to fight, to be able to recover to the man that I was before and the man that I want to be. In terms of health, I am definitely sleeping much better throughout the night. My rings are telling me that I'm getting, a good solid 5-6 hours, which, initially I thought the brain fog was, causing a lot of the problems, but it might also have been lack of sleep. So I'm definitely catching up on a lot of sleep, and it's kind of starting to clear up a little bit. I'm still taking the painkillers because that's what's helping me get the sleep, and a little bit drowsy during the day, but I think I'm starting to get used to it. So hopefully in the next week or so, my sleep schedule will be back on track. My diet is still a little bit off. I'm still losing a little bit of weight, but I am able to taste food a little bit better, although I'm not able to palate it very well. So we'll have to work out that magic formula to be able to get the calories and the protein that I need. As far as next steps, in a couple weeks or so, we're gonna have another complete workup, make sure that the CAP-10 is working, make sure that the liver is shrinking. If the liver is not shrinking, then we have to think about other options, or just to let it not shrink. But either way, we're working towards having a prolonged period without treatment, so that my liver can recover and I can live a normal quality of life for a bit. And then if it does shrink, even better. Then we don't have to do another modality of treatment and can still get to the same result. Again, it's not that the current treatment isn't working, it's just the inflammation of the liver that's causing us to have to take a break. So in the event that, or when it resurfaces again, then we can just do a salvage treatment and run the whole protocol over again. And hopefully by then there'll be new technology that'll make it even easier. If anybody's wondering about my voice, it's because my salivary glands aren't working right now, and it's causing the softness and the instability of the tone and the loudness. But still fighting hard every day, still choosing joy. Thank you very much for all the comments and words of encouragement. It means more than you know. For all of the new joiners, thank you very much for being here. You are definitely very welcome, and thank you for coming along with the journey. If this video helped you in any way, please like, subscribe, or share to be able to help support the channel. Then thank you very much for listening. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.